Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders, in green our Category 2, in blue Category 3 and Category 4 in red.
It's not a big group today, but it is big enough to want to break. I think we're going to see a stretch on the group here because we've already got a rider in danger 600 metres off the start pen.
It's my favourite tactic. Go from the back of the group to the front, sprint down the gutter, build up the speed whilst people can't see you behind them, give it some beans down the outside, and then you rocket your way up.
Sony, Columbi, Fua really in the mix here and really pushing on. Take a look at the damage at the back of this Category 1 group. 4 riders now really distanced.
She's caught that group that we were looking at here. It's not going to be long, I think, before Prado is going to be our leader on the road. Just making the most of dropping in behind those riders, getting a little bit of draft here.
Jeremy Prado had a gap of around 20 seconds, if you remember, on that climb. Prado was clear of the chasing 2. The chasing 2 were Hermansen and Embring. Well, those two have worked together, and Prado now being caught.
They have run out of road because there's just not the distance left. Look at how close we are coming in now to the finish. Ada Embring opens up the sprint here with Lisa Hermansen behind him. It's Embring with the blue hat on. The white hair there of Hermansen goes to the front. Prado's on her heels in the skiing suit of the polka dot leader. But Lisa Hermansen, cool as a cucumber, the Terminator, takes the win here today. Hello and welcome. It's the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, and more importantly, it's the finals. I love finals day. I always loved it when we had a big competition and we were getting in to the end of the racing. That's what we always wanted. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of the action. I'm down here in the studio with the one and only
Emma Martin,
who's busy doing social media.
I've just done it. I'm finished.
Emma, there you go. So if you want to see what we get up to first thing in the morning in the studios, do jump on and give us a follow. It's been a really busy week for MyWhoosh. It's been a busy week for us as well, keeping up with all the news coming out of HQ, and it's some really, really interesting stuff. So do go on, follow MyWhoosh on social media, and catch up with what's been happening. Some great news, some great images, some really fun stuff coming out as well. Really looking forward to it. I'm not going to give you any spoilers, so let you read it all in detail. Let's head out to where we're going for our finals first of all, though. We're in Arabia.
We are indeed in Arabia. We are on the Jebel Jais, and as you can see, it's rolling with a big climb at the end. So 35 kilometres of racing, 633 metres of climbing, and 2/3 of that climb in total comes on the Jebel Jais, which starts at 28 kilometres. It's 7.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 5.5%. It's that Category 2 climb where the checkered flag will be at the top for our women today. Now, along the way, we also have the aquarium climb coming at 13.6 kilometres and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sprint segments as well.
The key point here isn't just the fact that we've got the Jebel Jais on the end. Immediately before it, we have Matt's Depression. It's going to be my new name. I'm going to call this Matt's
the
Depression.
Underground tunnels.
In the underground. I call it the Jam, after the band who sung the Underground. But it is definitely a dip and a steep climb before we get to the climb proper. How will our categories deal with that? We're going to find out. First to get there should be our Category 4 riders. Red, they're our first riders to go. Great pack of riders in for the final. Some great teams here. You can see the teams on your screens. For me, the Petit 4 squad with Sonson, Hyde, Warren, Lloyd and Francis should be favourites, but can Phoenix challenge them? Navarez, De Silva, Paulo Sarasuk and Reyes is a strong squad as well. This is going to be really tough stuff. Team competition, 3 riders, times to count, maximum number of riders, 5, both Petit 4, Phoenix have 5 riders, as do the Power Watts. So who is going to be the rider who's going to take it? Who is going to be the rider who's going to go to the front and take away top spot.
Well, will the Petit Fours have a nice dollop of strawberry jam on top of their scones today? Only time is going to tell as away go Category 4. They are our red jersey wearers. They are up and out of the pen. We are in with Chrisabel Grace Paolo. She is part and parcel of the Phoenix squad. Now, my bet, Matt, is that the Phoenix squad are going to give the Petit Fours a run for their money today. Well, it's Fast and Furious out of the pen as they sweep round the bend onto the boardwalk and out onto the course proper.
So the riders heading out. You can just see that we're in with Carla Leonor at the moment. Looking good. We've got a couple of riders not in teams here as well, Emma.
We do. Al Carby is not in a team today, so is Sai. But we've got 20 riders in total in Category 4 with those 4 teams that you mentioned. Now, for me, the Petit Fours absolutely dominated Category 4 in the December final at the end of 2023. Can they do the same for the first final of 2024? I think it's really possible. Hyde, she's had a first, a fourth, and a fifth. Warren has had 2 fifths. Lloyd, 3 seconds. And Francis, 2 fourths. I don't think there is any betting against that team today to pull 3 riders into the top to get those points. But as you mentioned, Paolo's had a third. Trinidad Reyes from the Phoenix squad has had 2 firsts. Can she go hard today? And let's remember, it's the top 3 riders' time that is added together. So if we can get a lone rider, if a Reyes can go on that climb and put in, I don't know, 45, 50 seconds, maybe more, would that be enough to counter the packing that we know Petit Four will do? Well, as we are in with the group are packing at the moment. They are nice and tight on the road. They are up to speed just over 30 kilometres an hour as they are rolling. They are rolling nice and tight and wide. So you can see the riders here. We're in with Ruby, Sarasuk, Francis, Kirchner are all in here nice. And what a squad rolling today.
Definitely. And this team competition in Category 4, I think, is heightened by the fact that the Category 4 teams are very, very strong in their riding together. I mean, the Petit Four squad are putting on regular rides, aren't they? And they work as a team. They socialise together.
If you want to ride with the Petit Fours, jump on board 8 a.m. Thursday mornings GMT.
8 a.m. GMT Thursday mornings, go for a ride with the Petit Fours. I know Emma's been for a ride with the riders.
I've jumped on with them a couple of times.
Yep, and it's always good fun when you jump on a group ride. Don't forget, of course, that calendars and events now are available, and you've got a 30-day window on that event calendar, so you can take a look a lot further in front. We're just in with Carla Leonor at the moment as we head out. Just on that turbo trainer at the moment, she's got the towel over the handlebars, taking a good look down at that screen, making sure she tries to stay in touch. Doesn't want that gap to go at the moment. That's going to be really, really tricky.
It is indeed, but you can indeed jump in, as Matt had just mentioned. You can jump in with any of our squads who are putting on those community rides, and they do roll all throughout the week. So we talked about Petit Four, our Category 4 team today, Thursday mornings. Risky Biscuits, one of our Category 1 teams. Well, they're 8 a.m. on 8 a.m. GMT. I'm going to put my teeth in this morning on a Monday.
So let's see who jumps in with them, who's going to go for a ride, who will we see out on MyWhoosh, because you will find us riding the roads of MyWhoosh. Maybe not the endurance climb, not my idea if I'm going uphill 57k.
Oh, I was thinking I might have a bit of a challenge there.
You might indeed. Okay, let's see who is going to have the endurance today. Now, our big, strong cycling teams in Category 3 are in here. The Watt Queens could well be favourite. Lytton Vink, Giuliano Idzik, and Takova. That Sunny Sign Up have got riders. Philippa Hill, Molly Weston been riding strong. They've got Jeremillo and Johnson in there as well. Watch out, though, for Strong Girls and the Cycling Warriors. Can the pedalers step up, take away a spot? It's not going to be long until we find out, because our Category 3 riders are about to head out. Remember, Category 3 starting 5 minutes behind Category 4 and 5 minutes in front of Category 2, 10 minutes in front of Category 1. So the riders lined up, ready to go. It's time to get that power up to start winding it in for the go. Here we are. It's Category 3 away. It is the finals here today in January, and the riders take to the boardwalk 35 kilometers. We've got a lot of climbing, 633 meters before we reach the summit, and we find out who's going to be our winner in Category 3.
Well, Category 3 are on the boardwalk as they take that left-hand corner. The pack up to pace over 30, nearly 40 kilometres an hour at the moment, because we've got a push on the front, and it's Gina de Gracia who's making the action at the moment. She's come out of that start pen really strongly, Matt.
She has, and she's got that lead. She's the solo rider in front. She's got the gap. It's just about powering out, though, isn't it? No, you're not left behind. You can't win the race here, but you can lose the race by not being in with the riders when they go. Gina de Gracia keeping it hard, not wanting to let anybody off the hook here, and I think setting a very quick pace.
Well, interesting tactic for me today, because Gina de Gracia, part and parcel of the Peddler squad, with Tan, Gill and Madeira. Myra Madeira has been known to ride really strongly. Now, for me, this team competition in Category 3 is really quite open. The Peddlers could do really well. Cycling Warriors have had 2 fifths with the Reyes and Lopez. Strong Girls have been on the podium as well. De Silva's had a second this month. Gentili's had a second. Bremner, who won Category 4's final last month, has come up and is part and parcel of that squad too. Sunny Side Up, well, Yaramillo's had a 5th, Weston's had a 1st and a 3rd, Hill has had a 3rd this month, and Watt Queens, well, every member of the Watt Queens has placed this month. So they, for me, have got to be the dominant squad, but there is going to be some teams really taking this to the line today in Category 3, and I think that's why de Gracia has gone hard from the start.
Yeah, some riders just want a hard race from the get-go, don't they? You just do. And other riders want to get up and moving a little bit slower. They want to build into the race. They want to save their energy, and they just naturally work better that way.
And this is also about team tactics today. Now, if Peddlers have gone, how do we beat the Watt Queens? How do we beat Sunny Side Up? We've got 2 really strong squads. In fact, we've got 5 really strong squads. We've got 2 potentially dominant squads. How do we as the Peddlers take this to them? We know we're good. We know we're on form. What can we do to shake up the racing? We've got a big, long climb at the end of this course. The natural tactic is to send someone down the road, and we're in with Rebecca Johnson. She's part and parcel of the Sunny Side Up squad. This is a good squad as well. I think these are the team likely to challenge the Watt Queens for the win. But there's, all credit to the Peddlers, because they've gone out hard, and you can see, look at the effort on Johnson already.
Yeah, Johnson really having to make sure she doesn't get dropped from this group. It keeps on stretching. It keeps on reforming. It's going long. It's getting closer together. And we saw Rebecca Johnson last week climbing really strongly on the climbs. On that big long climb, we were, I think, in outer loop, if my memory serves me correctly. We've done so many of these races. It was outer loop.
It was indeed.
There you go. Good. At least my memory's working today, so I've almost had enough
See who's
coffee.
got their notes in front of them.
It's not a matter of having the notes. It's a matter of having it in my head this morning. I've got so many sheets of paper in front of me. I look like a library. So I think her climbing could well see her in good stead here, because she showed that on that long climb in outer loop, that she was so strong. And I think if I was a team that had her on my team, I would be wanting to save Johnson's effort for that climb, because we know she can climb well. And the Sunny Side Up squad going to be very strong. Now, on to Category 2. Category 2. Great teams, as always, on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club finals. Good to see that we have the Gravity Grinders in here. Prado, Kong, Smithers and McAlpine could well be favourites, but the team AJL always... Anna Embring, Julia Montgomery, Julia Walkenhurst, and Lisa Hermansen, a.k.a. the Terminator, is going to, I think, push them close. Maniacs and Sunday crew as well. And it's the first time that Grind My Gears haven't been my hot favourite.
Well, I'm just giggling because I've just worked out what AJL stands for. Anna, Julia and Lisa, always.
Yeah, there you go. Fantastic. Love it.
Well, they're down in the start pen. Those green jerseys, 22 riders on the start sheets today are pedalling hard because they are away on the January final of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Dub. This is 2024. We are starting a new year, a new final, and the teams are ready to go. Gosh, this group are up and out the start pens. They hit that hard and have backed off fast because they want to go at a steady pace, but nobody wants to miss the start if the hammer goes down. So it really is a fine line before hitting the power out of the pens and then realising you're the only one doing it and backing off and sitting in the group.
Yeah, don't want to shoot your bolt too soon. You don't want to go heading off down the far side. You are away.
Well,
it's not going to be good. Oh, look at that. Cool calculation. I'm absolutely loving watching people's pain caves here. Loving the bikes on the wall. Love the bikes in the background. You can just see there's a foam mat there as well. But the most important thing, Jenny Daniel looking very calm and composed here at the moment. So Jenny keeping it smooth, just ticking along, sat in that group. We know she's a really experienced rider. We know she's very good at this because we see her right up in the mix, all at the right time.
Well, part and parcel of that Sunday crew, she has taken a 5th place this month, and that was indeed last week. So coming into form, perfect time for the final. Jenny Daniel, part of that Sunday crew with Davidson, Zimmerman, Sarmiento and Corollas, and we know those are strong riders.
They are very, very strong riders, and I think the Category 2 is so competitive. It's absolutely brilliant to watch because they're so close. The category is so close. The differences are so fine between them. Looks like we've got one of the AJL, one of the dynamic 2Js in there, if Emma is correct, which I think she is going to be. Julie Montgomery in here. Now, Julie going for the super calm, chilled out background here. Really looking... what people set up for their pain cave and the camera shot we see, I think is very indicative.
I think people get
what
pain
people
cave
do.
Envy watching all of these riders racing, you know.
I do. So should we share? We will send a picture, I think, out on social media. One will be of Emma's studio pain cave. We are very lucky, I have to say, that we have pain caves that we can use in a studio. So we both have have a pain cave which is part of a studio as well as our own individual setups elsewhere. But the pain cave studio is very funny because there is kind of like a tale of two halves here. There is the pauper and the princess. Let's just say that.
Well, it just shows you who broadcasts whilst they ride more often, but we will do that. Should we head back to the racing that we're watching today, and we're in with Hadlock at the moment. This pack moving very comfortably. In fact, we've seen steady starts from all of the packs other than Category 3, where we saw De Gracia go down the road. The other two packs, Category 2 and Category 4, have started very steady. And I'm looking at the pace here of this Category 2 pack, 1.8, 2 watts per kilo, 2.3. It's a steady pace.
I was just going to ask you for clarification. Do you mean steady as in slow or steady as in smooth?
I mean steady as in well within the boundaries of what these riders are capable of.
Slow for them?
No, it's not slow, but it is
for these riders,
steady.
It's a comfortable pace.
Yeah. There's a difference between comfortable and slow.
Yeah, but for these riders, relatively it is. We know how strong they are.
Well, we say that and we're just seeing a push on the front here because, well, they've decided that it is too steady and too comfortable.
Yeah, that's commentator's curse, for which I am now internationally famous after the cyclocross last week.
Well, this is Category 1. They're down in the start pens. 23 riders on the start sheets today. 6 teams. Matt, take us through.
Well, this is going to be really interesting because the Coalition Composite squad are up against the Effetto Skier team and Nordic Spirit. Now, of these teams, Coalition Composite and Effetto Skier, I've got 2 stars against. The Nordic Spirit, maybe 1 star, just going to have a little bit of a harder task. when we go to the Risky Biscuits, the Velo Girls and the Wicked Witches, again, Risky Biscuits have 2 stars, and then Velo Girls and Wicked Witches have a star each, because, to be brutally honest, it could be anybody's team race here. I think this is going to be really, really difficult to call. Let's see who's going to take this out. Let's see who is going to be able to take the win. Category 1 is go here on the finals of the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. For the January final, our teams are taking to the road as well as our individuals. That team competition, 3 riders to count. It has an added level of complexity to the tactics. It has an added level of pressure for our riders. It's going to be intriguing to see who takes it out, what tactics are used, who is going to take the win when we get to the end of the course.
Well, it is going to be really interesting, this team competition here today. Coalition Composite, Velt, Bates, Manshandi and Sidlick. Now, Bates has had a 1st, a 2nd and a 3rd this month. Manshandi's had a 4th and Sidlick's had a 5th. They, for me, have got to be a really strong team. But Effetto Skier, Busoni's had a 1st, a 4th and a 5th. Columbi's had a 2nd. Giovanni, we know, is a strong rider as well. Nordic Spirit, Van Hove, Engstrom and Bruni. Bruni's had a 3rd place this month. Really strong. Risky Biscuits have been so dominant. They were dominant in December. They won by 1. Well, I say they were dominant. In December's final, we were in the outer loop, and the Risky Biscuits, look at that, you can see Catherine Fua just checking the final information from her team. I bet there's a bit of chat going on there. But the Risky Biscuits took the win from the Spartan Obstacles by 1.59 seconds.
1.59 seconds.
Because we were on the outer loop in Australia, which normally comes down to a sprint. But the Risky Biscuits, Fua has had a 1st and a 3rd this month. Coincidence had a 2nd and a 5th. And we know Biarhead and Donny are strong riders. Velo Girls, Gonzalez Rua, Menendez, who's had a 4th. Kalman and Kasani, who we know is strong. And then the Wicked Witches, Svarstrom and Gianti have come up from Cat 2 this month. Still have finding their feet in Category 1, but part and parcel of the squad with Larson and London. This is a really great lineup for a Category 1 final, and I think this is going to get really interesting.
I think so. I think we are going to see a very, very interesting tactical finals. Lou Bates looks like she's going out for a Sunday club run. Morning, Lou, or afternoon, or evening. Lou, of course, one of our riders from the Southern Hemisphere. And Lou, so I'm pretty sure she is. Am I not correct there? Or is Lou in the UK? Lou is in the UK. Oh, morning, Lou. It's early for you. It's early for us. You can tell.
It's so early for Matt, he can't remember what flags and where people come from.
Do you know, I'm thinking, but Lou is, of course, UK. So, yeah, Lou's on the same time as us, so that's probably a 5 o'clock alarm call for Lou, which is always tough racing when you get an early alarm call. But Lou Bates sat there looking very comfortable at this pace. Sitting in the draft, really key here. Watch our riders. We're in with Joanna Kalman at the moment. Top centre of your screen, we have the rider information. The key thing here is the wattage that the riders are kicking out and how they're using their power. Now, a smart rider will spend most of their time with the watts in green. Green is good. It means you are in the draft. White is in the wind. White for in the wind. And that means that you are taking that wind. You are having to push through that. And anyone behind you is getting an easier ride. So if you're out in the front, you need to make it count. Do not burn those watts. Do not burn the calories. Do not burn off that fuel. Do not spend that energy unnecessarily, because if you do, you could well be left wanting when we get to the crux moments of this race. For me, there are going to be 3 crux moments in this race. Point 1 is the Aquarian climb. That is the tough climb that comes midway through. We then have the dip and rise that comes before our final climb. That's crux point 2. And then crux point number 3 is, of course, the Jebel Jais and the run for the finish line, because that's really the only one that really, really, really matters.
What, the finish line rather than the Jebel Jais?
Yeah, you got to get to the finish line first. That's, you know, there's no prizes. I was racing a team time trial, and I was told told off because I was not taking the racing line through corners. Somebody said to me, "There's no prizes." But teammate said there are no prizes for taking the nicest, most longest line through here. This is about winning. This is a race, Matt. Get racing.
Well,
this was whilst we were racing.
I'll tell you something, these women are racing and they are getting racing today. We can see them in their studios at the moment, concentration on those faces as this pack goes through and under the Abu Dhabi sprint. This is the first sprint of 5 segments today on this course. It's the 300 metres in length, and this Category 1 pack are the final pack to go through.
This is the fellow girls down here. We've got the team here of Menezes, Kasani, of Kalman and Gonzalez, all in 4 different locations, all racing to take away that team prize. 3 of these riders are going to have to count to put in that time as they go through. I tell you something, I am so impressed when we get this insight into the teams. Absolutely loving this view, because for me, racing is about people. You know, we watch avatars on the screen. We talk about avatars. We talk about people's performances, what we know from doing our research. But it's those people putting the power down, what they look like behind the scenes.
Well, I tell you, the person putting the power down today, and that's Gina de Gracia. She went hard off the front of that Category 3 race at the start pen to really light it up, and she's still lighting it up when she went through the Abu Dhabi sprint. 4.2 watts per kilo, a time of 27.889 seconds, gives her the fastest time through that section. It was indeed one of the other Category 3 riders, Yaramilo, who goes through in second place. Lam Kong from Category 2 in third, with Montoya, Davidson, Giraldo, Montoya and Barragan also from Category 2. Giannatti from Category 1 from the Wicked Witches. She's the first Category 1 rider to go through that segment in 8th place. And then it's Kokkonen from Category 2 and Larson, Giannatti's teammate in Category 1, rounding out the top 10 through that segment.
And if we then want to run our way down from the top 10, sort of heading right the way down to the riders in Category 3 behind Giannatti, behind Gina de Grazia here, you've got to go a long way. I've just been scrolling down, it took me a long time. 48th fastest time is Idzik, and I think Natalia Idzik is the closest rider, other than our top 2, to Gina de Gracia. So Gina de Gracia goes through with one more rider. I'm loving the fact she's riding there in the MyWhoosh jersey as well. Gina de Gracia, one of our riders, I'm pretty certain rode in the MyWhoosh championships back in May. Now, that was a long time and a lot of races ago. So
that was a
different
different
that
year
wrong.
ago.
It was a whole year. Well, it's heading for a year ago. And Gina looking very focused there. MyWhoosh jersey on, in the zone. And I think what you wear is very important as well.
Well, this Category 3 race really being lit up now. We can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. This is probably my most favourite graphic on the screen. And viewers who are new to us, this really gives us a shot of the road and the course and what is up ahead and what is behind. Now you can see 3 groups of blue on that screen. We've got the leading group, which is what is on the screen in front of us, that contains Gina de Gracia. We've then got 1 rider off the back, and then a little bit further back we've got 1 or 2 riders further back down the road, showing us that Category 3 race is now starting to split. The Category 4 race, those are the red on that screen. You can see these Category 3 riders are now coming up after 10.2 kilometres of this 35-kilometre race onto the back of the Category 4 field that started 5 minutes ahead of them. Now, for riders who are new to us, those Category 4 riders start first. Category 3 riders 5 minutes later, Category 2 5 minutes after that, Category 1 5 minutes after Category 2. So Category 1 starting 15 minutes behind our Cat 4 riders, as we see those Category 3 riders start to work their way through that Category 4 pack.
And catching the sprint leader. So the sprint leader It is a competition, the sprints, that is not going to influence the overall prizes. It doesn't influence the GC, but what it does do, it awards a jersey and shorts, so a skin suit, rather than the black shorts. So you can see in our Category 2 pack, there's the green jerseys with black shorts of the pack, and then there's the all-green skin suit of our leader. And I think it was Pollyanna who was riding in the Category 4, just being caught on the way through. And you get to see the shot there as we take a look. You can see that skin suit just in camera shot there with the green shorts and the green jersey. So Category 2, 8.7k in. We're just in with the Terminator, Lisa Hermansen, on the way up and over the climb. So good to see Lisa back in with us. So let's take a look at the team here. So this is the AJL Forever team. It is Anna Embry. So that's the A. We've got Julia Walkenhurst and Julia Montgomery, the J's, and Lisa Hermansen in the L. So interesting. Lisa's gone for the green skin suit there. He's done a bit of a sprint inspiration, because it does make a difference.
Well, I don't know whether her jersey is a deliberate pick, but she is tightly in that group of Category 2 riders. She's got her team around her on the screen. She's got her team around her in the pack, and she's going to need her team around her at the finish to pick up those seconds that are going to be crucial in that team competition. So Daniel, Hadlock, Zimmerman, Tokarnis, Kokkonen, Davidson, all in this pack. Ospina, Holweiler in here too with McAlpine. So all of the protagonists we expect to see in Category 2, they are tightly in the pack, and the pack is motoring strongly, 42 kilometers an hour at the moment, and we're seeing this group start to stretch here, and it is Carolus and Hermansen who are leading this out. This is just a downhill section off of the bridge at the moment, and trying to ensure that the pace stays high.
And tucked in the back of this group, we do have Category 3 rider who's been caught by Category 2, trying to hold onto the ends of the wheels. So here we go. We're in with Johanna Zimmerman on the climb. We've dispatched our rider. That's the blue dot on the left of your screens. Our Category 3 rider not staying with that Category 2 pack here. It's a great tactic to try and hold on, but sometimes, just not possible.
It very much depends on what part of the course you get caught on. If our riders from the earlier starting categories get swept up by the pack behind on a downhill or a flat section, quite often we see them able to stay in. They're able to jump into the middle of the pack and make the most of the draft and hang into the group. This Category 3 rider, Natalia Becerra, was unlucky. She got caught on the climb of that bridge, and however hard you work, you're never going to match the power that the higher cat can put out if you are caught on an uphill section. So Category 2 continuing to motor, and you can see it getting split here because this leading group now starting to drop riders in Category 2. And you can see that indeed. So Zimmerman, Sarmiento and Daniel on the screen at the moment, as we are in with Zimmerman on the green jersey pack as they sweeping through the city at the moment. And it's looking, checking the information on the screen, I would say that's looking quite comfortable at the moment.
Well, yes and no. I mean, you can see the riders keeping on working here. Really interested in Zimmerman here, taking on board some more fluids. Really, really important. I mean, we're only in relatively early stage, 20 minutes in. I'm wondering whether as well, Zimmerman there, just taking the drinks on board at 18 minutes, has a schedule in there. Make sure you drink at every 20 minutes. When I'm out on the bike, I always try and grab a bottle. So it depends on the duration of the ride, either every 20 minutes or every 30 minutes, trying to make sure I eat and drink on the way. So for some riders, it's actually a scheduled thing just to keep reminding themselves to do that. Really interesting Zimmerman doing that. I think it's relatively comfortable, but very interesting. The information, all our riders we're seeing, lots of screens, lots of sources of information. So we've seen iPhones, we've seen iPads, we've seen big screen with the game they're playing on, with the MyWhoosh information on it, and the live broadcast as well very often. So if you're joining us and you're racing, thank you very much for doing so. If you are joining us and watching, spectating, thank you for joining us. Really do appreciate every single one of you being with us here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. We're really looking forward to the run in to the first of the World Championships here on MyWhoosh, which is going to be coming up in October. And MyWhoosh now, as we found out in the launch this week, also going to be one of the key partners, not just for the Esports World Championship, but also the Road Championships as well. So going to be a main partner of that. So that is going to be Zurich, it's going to be Kigali, as well as Montreal. So really good to see MyWhoosh supporting the sport, which is really, really key. The people who are involved in the sport support the sport, and for you to support them. So please do give the coverage a like, give it a subscribe, tell your friends about it, tell them to jump on board. And don't forget, if you're racing, well, we'd love to see you as well. So Christabel Grace in action here in our category 4 riders here. You can see that the fan is going definitely down in that pancake, trying to keep that temperature down to make sure that you don't get that heart rate drift that comes when your temperature starts to rise and you're putting energy into just keeping cool. You want to keep the energy for riding smoothly. And Christabel Grace Paolo, one of our regular riders on the Sunday Race Club. Going to be very interesting to see how she goes on today. She's here in our polka dot skin suit at the moment because they are at 16.2k and have already gone through that aquarium climb segment. So in with Christabel, the rider who is all part of that Phoenix squad. In category 4, we move across to category 3, in with Natalia Idzik. Idzik, the nearest rider to Di Grazia's sprint time on the very first sprint of the day, but they are currently at 15 kilometers, and that puts them about 700 meters from the end of this mid-climb segment. However, I think this group are concentrating on their racing and riding at the moment rather than necessarily the intermediate segments. Those are the sprints or the climbs, which whilst they do give us a jersey and a skin suit, they do not give us any kind of scoring mechanism that counts for the prizes at the end. Top 5 riders in each of our race categories individually getting prizes, and top 5 teams in each category getting some amazing prizes.
Wow, talking about getting amazing prizes. I'm thinking category 3 are going to get the prize shortly for being the leaders on the road, because they are not far off. I'm looking at the bottom of left-hand corner screen at the moment, and I've got 2 groups of category 4 riders further down the road. But I don't think they are a long way further down the road. Last time we checked in with category 4, they were pretty much at the same point these category 3 leaders are now. So Ella Vink on our screens on the bottom left-hand corner, riding and concentrating hard. She's in with this leading group of category 3. She was riding Cat 4 and she has come into Cat 3 and now putting in strong performances in category 3, which is fantastic to see and really making the action. So Vink indeed has taken a first and a second for the Watt Queens so far this month. Can she get onto the podium today? Well, I think this course could suit her. She's a strong rider and a strong climber.
And this league group has got some incredibly strong riders in there. And if you're not in the league group, don't worry, you don't take it badly. You are in amongst some incredible athletes in here who can kick out some fantastic power for a very long length of time. It has to be said, the power, the pace, performance of all of our riders, really, really phenomenal. And remember, doesn't matter how slow you go, tell myself this regularly, how slow you're going, you're still going faster than somebody sat at home on the couch.
Well, I'll tell you something, the riders in all four of these categories are going faster than an awful lot of our. I'm laughing because as Matt is saying that, I can think of a time many years ago where I was daydreaming riding my bike home from work up a very steep climb as a runner doing hill reps came past me.
Yeah, well, it does happen. If you daydream, you're not meant to daydream racing. Oh, my goodness me.
No daydreaming allowed.
No daydreaming allowed. Definitely not. Well, you can see that Cornelia Engstrom here is not daydreaming. Super focused here. Sitting on the smart bike there with the towel over the top there. Just to make sure that keeps it in good condition. Trying to make sure and keep that heart rate down. Now you can see we've got multiple monitors on the go here. Lots of sources of information. And great to see Cornelia in here. Now, question for me is, Cornelia's looking very comfortable at the moment. She sat there, lovely pedal cadence there. In terms of speed, we're talking about 100 revs per minute. That's super smooth, and it allows you to be responsive to what other people are doing. It's much easier to accelerate up and down like that.
Yeah, and this is becoming part and parcel of this category one field, moving towards this aquarium climb. So that aquarium climb coming at 13.6 kilometers into this race today. They're currently at 12.4 kilometers. That aquarium climb, Matt, you think, well, you indicate at the top of the show that this was one of the key parts of the course.
I'm going to take that back. It's not.
Oh, well, there you go then.
It's not. Do you know why it's not? Because it's changed.
There you go.
Because the aquarium climb used to be a super brutal climb, but when you look at it now in depth, you climb 33 meters. You climb more on my second point, and I'm going to stick with my second decisive spot, which is the drop into and then the rise out of the depression immediately before the Jebel Jais.
So you're talking about the section of course after the Leeward Desert Sprint, which comes at 19.5 kilometers into the course. You then drop from that top point on a number of sections into the base of the tunnel, and then you climb out before the RAK Sprint, which comes at 25.5 kilometers.
Yep, and the aquarium climb actually used to be the reverse of this, basically.
Okay, so while we are looking at adjustments to the course, Dana Davidson is getting on with riding and racing it. She's in with Daniel Montgomery, McAlpine, Turkanis. They are in this leading group in the Category 2 race and working their way strongly through the field. So let's take a quick look at where we are at. Our Category 4 riders, they were the first riders out of the pen today at 19.1 kilometres. That's the leading group, and it's still quite large. At 17.9 kilometres, we've got Jenny Tan down the road. She's put a bit of an attack in. She's got 3 seconds on the group in Category 3. At Category 2, 16.5 kilometres now into this 35-kilometre race. And for me, that's still a big group of strong riders pulling their way through this course and working their way through the back markers of the fields in front. Category 1 were our last race field to start at 13.7 kilometres, and I mean they are indeed 3 kilometres behind the Category 2 race field, which tells me, Matt, that our Category 1 pack have had a very steady start today to this race.
I think that's been reflected in the camera shots when we've looked at the riders as well. I think it does reflect the racing so far. We saw the riders going through and they just looked super comfortable. Cornelia Engstrom, who we're in here, that we saw just spinning through there, looking comfy for that Nordic Spirit team with Van Hove, with Bruni as well. I think this group, this is one of the things that I'm lucky enough to put words to action across a lot of cycle sport. When you look at the riders who are at the very top level of any discipline, they are super smart about when they use their energy, where those decisive points are, and how to ride. You rarely see them wasting energy. And if you look at it and you think they are, generally actually there's a reason behind it, because we don't get the team tactics. Of course, we don't know what the team tactics are. So when we look at Celine Colombi here, Roberta Bassoni and Sophie Giovanni in here, we don't know what their team tactics are coming into this at all. We don't know what they're
But we
planning.
do know they probably have a plan. Well,
I'm sure
there's
they
no
will.
probably about it.
They will.
They have a plan.
They will indeed have a plan. That is for certain now. Really interesting to see the three riders there. Very, very similar setups, different positions, different places, but very similar riders as well in terms of a team makeup. If you were riding a team pursuit on a track, you try and get all your riders of a similar height and a similar stature, quite simply because it makes it easier for the aerodynamics and the change in pace. Very interesting. That team is very, very similar. They are a very, very strong squad. The Effetto Skier team. And great to see support crews in the background as well. We see this across esports very regularly, where people will have people looking after them when they are racing as well. Some people like shutting in a pain cave and the door locking and no distractions, don't they, Emma? However, never ever be around Emma when she's filming a race or she's riding a race. I warn you now, if we ever put a camera on there, there will be a filter on it that sort of comes up and goes, do not enter at any point.
This Category 1 pack needs no filter. 20 riders in this leading group, motoring strongly, continuing to work their way through this 35-kilometre course. Now, the Jebel Jais is a 35-kilometre course, 633 metres of climbing, and 2/3 of that comes on the Jebel Jais. It's 415 metres of climbing over 7.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 5.5%. For me, though, the climb is quite a steady climb. It's quite a consistent climb in terms of its gradient. It's going to be really interesting to see what will happen in this Category 1 pack when we get there. Will we see the climbers like Bates come to the fore, Columbi come to the fore? It's going to be interesting to see that battle at the front. But because this is the final and because we've got that team competition, those seconds count, and every rider will be trying to get to the top of that climb as fast as possible to add those seconds together. Now, adding the seconds together in the aquarium climb and tapping to the top, it's Busoni from London, from Van Hove, Donny, Sidlick, Gonzalez, Rua, Cassani, Kalman, Fua, and in 10th place, Giannatti, all Category 1 riders.
22 riders in Category 1 going through that section together. You saw the top of the tree there with Roberto Busoni leading them through. Interestingly, though, they are also our fastest riders overall. Now, we said they've been taking it steady, but a Category 1 steady on a climb where you have such, these are the best athletes on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. They are our Category 1 riders. When we come to a climb, they are going to produce the best watts per kilo, a measurement of your power to weight, which is so key when it comes to climbing. Now, that doesn't mean you have to weigh nothing. It means you need plenty of power per kilo. You can be, I can climb. I know we take the mickey out of me, and I take the mickey out of me, but I'm no lightweight. I am a pretty chunky, solid guy, but I can climb because it's about power. I can produce a lot of watts too, which lets me climb well. But Category 1 can climb better than Category 2, 3 or 4. And even when they're taking it steady, the gravity takes the effect rather than necessarily the speed. They are absolutely motoring in terms of relative to everyone else. But for Category 1, this is still a relatively steady pace.
The relatively steady pace is doing damage, though, because they're picking up riders in other race fields and starting to work their way through the back markers. This is a Category 3 rider. Category 3 race started 10 minutes ahead of the Category 1 race. We can see a red jersey just down the road. That's a back marker in the Category 4 race. So Busoni, who has swapped the yellow jersey for the polka dot skin suit, is part and parcel of that 22 rider leading pack as they're going through the next sprint section. It's not the same in the sprints, though, is it, Matt?
No, it's not, because when the riders are on a climb, it's purely power to weight. When you are on the flat sections, it's not about power to weight. It's just about how much power you're putting out versus your aerodynamic drag. It's power and aerodynamic drag on the flat and the downhill rather than power to weight ratio. And that is where that natural advantage in the climbs pays off. It doesn't pay off on the flat. It's about how hard you're working generally and how much
And I think
power
it's
you're
really
putting out.
interesting, isn't it? Because take a look at that. Barragan, 4.3 watts per kilo. Kekkonen, 3.2. Yet there's only 0.6 of a second between the two of them. That's because Kekkonen is in the pack being dragged along by Barragan. That is about the draft.
Yes, and draft is so key. I mean, look at that. With 0.8 of a second to the bottom of the screen there, on the way through, it shows the differences are minuscule on the way through these sections compared to the time gaps that we get on a climb. And when we get to the Jebel Jais, we may well be doing the time gaps not just in thousands and hundreds and tenths of a second, but we will probably be heading out into seconds and minutes across the race fields. We will see. We do try and bring you every single race finish, I promise you. We can't always do that. It's just simply physically not possible. Quite often they can be simultaneous, but we will try and cover you all out there. If you want to tell us about you, if you want to try and flag us up in our minds and give us some more information, please do get in touch. We'd love to hear from the riders. It is at Matt Fix the Pain. That's me. And you can get hold of Emma. It's at biking_Emma. Please, please, please do message. Thank you so much to everybody who's messaged so far. In all of our categories, we absolutely love to hear from you. So please, please do get in touch and let us know what you're up to.
Category 4 at the moment, they are up to motoring into the final climb of the day. 11 riders in this leading group, now at 23.8 kilometers of this course. They are in that dip that Matt talked about earlier on and about to hit the climbing section. You can see that on the top right hand corner of their screen. Category 3 are heading into the same dip behind them, 1.2 kilometers behind.
And it needs a name. We have the FRB section. We have the flat rolling bumpy section on the climbs in Colombia. So what I'd like people to do, please guys, get in touch. We always have this little section where we dip down into the depression here in Arabia, where we drop off the side of the climb before we get on the main climb. Sometimes we call it the roundabout climb because there's a roundabout about halfway up coming in. When you leave this low point of the course, from the very lowest point heading to the highest point, please, 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 please send me the name. Send it to @MattFixPain. Don't send it to Emma. She'll just selectively tell me the results at some point. Please do send us a name. We want a name for the climb out. It's the anti-penultimate climb, the climb that never was, the segment that isn't, the climb to nowhere. Take your pick, roundabout climb. Please give us a name. If you are in Arabia, if you know where this is based in the world, in the outside world, let us know. It's decisive, and you can see it here. Red chevrons everywhere, yellow chevrons everywhere. The pace is picking up, and the power that's being put down is testing the riders now. This is where things get really difficult. Category 4 are on the climb. We're in with Cynthia Neves at the moment. And Neves at the moment out of the saddle, kicking down, and that is a real indicator they're having to sprint up here. Brilliant to see that response. Gets out of the saddle, kicking around on that mountain bike, sits back down again, does not want to be distanced by the group. There's a serious kick here, and Cynthia moves up into the front. So Neves here out of the saddle again. This is the climb that takes you past this roundabout and back into town. It is a tricky one, and this is the precursor to the main climb. It comes in, it finishes about it's going to be about 1.5 km before the start of the main climb of the Jebel Jais. It is a tough climb, and at the moment there is a lot of people having to work very hard.
They're working hard, and they're staying in the group at the moment because they know they have to dig deep. This is the time they do not want to get distance. They know the hard climb is coming. They know they are going to have to work hard, but they also know they have to be in the leading group at the bottom of that climb to stand a chance. Now, standing a chance at the moment is the leading group in the Category 3 race. You can see they are heading in to the roundabout. That is the roundabout the leaders in the Category 4 race are currently exiting. So Category 3 tapping on strongly. They are moving towards the leaders in the Category 4 race. I don't think they're going to make the catch until they get to the climb, but they will go past those leaders in that Category 4 race on that climb. Also interesting to see, take a look, only 600 metres behind the leaders of the Category 3 group. It's the Category 2 leaders.
And they are coming into the base of this climb. We saw Category 4 get those red and yellow chevrons coming out because they were on the climb. We've seen Category 3 do the same. Now come Category 2. The nose is going to be jangling. They're going to have to be very wary. We are seeing riders being distanced. There's already another rider just lost off the back of the group. Now another kick starting to go in the race here because these riders are starting to push in here. They are coming up on other riders who've been distanced from their own race category lead, and that means that they are going to start to be in trouble as the horses run down the side of the course here, spooked by the speed of the riders, the weight coming off them. Maybe it's a sonic boom. Will anybody be able to break the sound barrier up here? It's about kicking down and kicking down hard. Hermansen out of the saddle here as well. She's climbing hard here on this ascent, and at the moment this leading pack, they're starting to go into those chevrons, the yellow and red chevrons that indicate the power. Another move off the front now. Somebody's dived off the on the attack at the very front of the group. Who's it going to be? We're just taking a look up. We know Daniels is working hard here. Carolus is doing the same. It's Carolus who went there with Jenny Daniel on her wheel, and you could see the effort from Hermansen, the Terminator, to make sure she was in touch with our leaders. So who will it be at the top of this climb? Will anybody get spat out of the back of the group as they come off the climb out of the roundabout?
Hermansen, Embring, Montgomery, all pushing hard. Walkenhurst, Daniel, Prado, all in the mix, wanting to stay with them. This is the top of the climb. This is the push. Hermansen is leading it out now, and she's pushing it down hard. Embring is following. So's Montgomery, Walkenhurst, and Prado. Nobody wants to get dropped here. The team's really digging in deep. This is the final kick. Before that, pretty much a flat run into the bottom of the climb. At 28 kilometres, they're going to come up onto the leaders in Category 3, the leaders in Category 4. But at the moment, they're more interested in being the leaders in Category 2. It's Hermansen and Embring who are doing the damage. Now, those two, they've done the damage all month. Hermansen has taken 3 wins. Can she round it out with her 4th? Embring has taken 3/3. Can she be in the mix as well at the end of this? Only time is going to tell us. Jeremy Prado comes up to join them. Now, she had a really strong race last week. In fact, she has also been going well all month, but last week was a phenomenal ride in the outer loop. Her and Hermansen running into the finish. Hermansen taking that pretty much like we saw in Belgium in the first qualifier of the month, where it was Hermansen and Prado again.
And this group is a small group now. It is not a huge pack of riders by any stretch of the imagination. Even if you didn't drop anybody on that climb, you are going to have hurt somebody. So if you're a tough rider, if you know that you have the stamina, you've got the capability to recover from here to the start of the final climb, you need to go and really put some damage in. It's not just about the last climb. It's about what runs before. It's about how much energy riders expend, how hard they're working to get there. The riders on the way into that final climb are Category 4. The leaders at Category 4 are making the way towards that polka dot banner here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. They go past those UCI banners, past the Fab banners, and underneath the polka dot arch. We are on to the start of the climb. It kicks pretty quickly upwards. 4% already and climbing. We're going to go over 5%. And this start to the Jebel Jais now at 6.3. It is a brutal, nasty start because you come in on the flat and it's almost an instantaneous change onto the gradient. This is where we see who is feeling. They've got their climbing legs on. They've had that precursor, that first little kick up from the dip down through past the roundabout. And we are starting to see some gaps opening up here, Emma. This is early to go off the back. It's dangerous, isn't it, to lose touch here?
It is indeed, but pretty much that pack are made up of the Petit Four squad and the Phoenix squad. We said it was probably going to be between those two squads in Cat 4, and that's exactly how it is playing out today.
So the two big squads, the two favourite teams in Category 4, Petit 4, and Phoenix in there. The Power Watson and the Chill Crew will be fighting out for positions. Remember, 5 teams in each category taking away prizes. That's in Category 4, 3, 2, and 1. Category 1 team prize is 50,000 AED. Big prizes on offer in all of our categories. Now, bottom left-hand side of your screen, you can see we have the leaders in Category 2, and there are 2 big groups in there. Category 3 and Category 4 are just up the road, because about to enter the climb come the leaders of Category 2. So we have 3 of our leading groups on to the climb. They now have this phenomenal ascent to come, 7.5 kilometers to the polka dot banner. Remember, the polka dot banner coming 500 meters before our finish line at 35 kilometers of racing covered. Category 2 closing down. Now, the distances will come down, although the time gaps may stay the same. In reality, we expect the time gaps and the distances to come down. Category 3, Category 2 are together. Category 4, it looks like it's fracturing out. You can see a multicolored caterpillar train. It's a red caterpillar of dots on the climb, whereas Categories 3 and 2 are together. But the Category 2 have got Category 3 in the sight now. Be really aware. If you are racing, this is where it is confusion time. This is where you can kick on. Linda Sarmiento on there. Looks like she's got a rocker plate underneath the bike there, just to keep it that little bit more comfortable on the bike. She's starting to pressurize. You can just see the shoulders moving, really harnessing all of her muscle power to keep that bike exactly where she wants it in this group. She's right with the leaders. You do not want to come onto her group up in front and find that you are at the back. Category 2 is just fractured. That is in a single line of dots. Category 3 is in a single line of dots. This is the biggest group, but it is all over the road now in 2, 3, and 4.
This is going to get messy. This is going to get exciting. Category 2, 11 riders in that leading group, and we have got full team representation in terms of 3 or more riders from the Sunday crew, from Team AJL always. The Gravity Grinders are in there too, as they working their way now onto the back of the leading group in Category 3. Vink, Litton, Davidson, De Grazia all in there. So is De Silva. Again, multiple teams in that large Category 3 pack. They are all about to come on to the leaders on the road at the moment, which is the leading group in Category 4. At last count, there were 11 riders in that, but I can see splits in that group already.
So Category 4 splitting in front there in the red. You can see the profusion of colour, the green starting to filter through the blue of Category 3. So Category 2 riders filtering their way in through the Category 3 in the blue, starting to make their way up to the red jerseys of Category 4. But we have got riders still in front there, just round this left-hand turn. You can see as we go past the FAB banners, past the UCI banners, the IHC banners here. They are lined out and chasing hard here. And Philippa Hill of Category 3 has managed to jump in with this group of Category 2 riders. She's trying to push herself right in the mix for the Sunny Side Up team, but they're coming up on Category 4. That's the race leaders on the road.
It is indeed, but look at the stretch that Category Catch has done to Cat 3. It's decimated that leading group, because as you say, Matt, riders have desperately tried to hang on. Hill has managed to catch a lift in there. Takova is working seriously hard to stay there. Can those 2 riders stay in that mix, or how long can they stay in that mix and take the tow as Category 2 now come through that Category 4 field and take the lead on the road?
I think it's Emma Sonnerson of Category 4 who's just jumped in there in the red jersey at the back, just trying to catch look, Georgina Hyde's done it, so Hyde is in there. So it's Georgina Hyde from Category 4 who is in with the leaders on the road. The rider that you can see on the centre of your screen at the moment, 250 watts coming out at the moment. Really pushing hard to try and stay with the leaders. So the leaders of Category 2, 3 and 4 all on the road, almost at the same point. Category 2 continues to squeeze. Right hand side of your screen. left-hand side of your screen. They've been on the road for 43.5 minutes nearly now. They are at 26.4k. That means that they are on the way to the base of the final climb. They take this right-hand turn, and they're going to line themselves up with the banner. They're going to go round the roundabout out the far side, but this is a flat run now to the climb. Bassoni currently having that polka dot. Remember, that climbing section is not that big, that she took that polka dot skin suit on. Doesn't indicate she's going to be our best climber on the climb. All the big favourites, I think, are in here. I'm just watching the names come through on the right-hand side of our screens here. And at the moment, when we look at that group, it was a big group. I think it was 22 riders. At my last count, it has thinned down a little bit, I think, judging by the numbers on the screens. But they are approaching the polka dot banner. They now know that between them and the summit is going to be 8 kilometers. They also know that they are going to have to work to take the win. This is not just for themselves. This is for the team. This is for the team win. Quick reminder, you have 3 riders to count. The cumulative time of your fastest 3 riders are added up, and the 3 riders with the quickest team time are the winners. Second fastest takes second place, and so on. 5 prizes. Coalition Composite, Effetto Skier, Nordic Spirit, Risky Biscuits, Fellow Girls, and Wicked Witches are racing this out. Fua is on the climb. This is going to be about taking it to the summit, and Fua is likely to kick early.
Bassoni, Fua, Bruni, Bates is coming to the fore, so is Menendez. Columbi is coming up there now. We would expect that as well, but Catherine Fua is going to want to take this today. She had the win in qualifier 1. Bassoni had the win in qualifier 2. Bates had the win in qualifier 3. Who's going to take the win in the final? Mina Koinstinen is in here as well. She had a little bit of illness this month, but hopefully coming back strong. Bassoni is the one kicking. Menendez, Bruni, Bates, Columbi, Fua, Biarhead, Donny, all keeping in that group as that leading group of category 1 start pushing their way up the climb. You can see scattered ahead of them the red, green and blue jerseys of the riders in the other categories. All 4 of our categories and races are now on the Jebel Jais.
And I think we are starting to see the Category 2 pull clear at the very front of the race field. Indeed we are. That's on the right-hand side of your screen. They're going round that hairpin turn. You can see that Prado currently leading by 6 seconds. So German Prado, 6 seconds clear of Hermansen of Embring. 11 seconds from Davidson, 16 to Sarmiento. It's about the same time to Daniel and Walkenhurst. So they're in a group that are chasing at the moment. So the 3 German riders trying to close down the gap. This will be very, very tasty indeed at the top in categories 2, 3 and 4. And category 1 are waiting to serve up an absolute superb result here, because as they come on here, we are in with Celine Columbi. She's working hard on this climb. She's definitely a fast rider. Will she be able to make it up to the top?
Bassoni, Bruni, Columbi, Bates, Fua, all in here at the moment with the Jebel Jais ahead of them.
So let's take a look at the Jebel Jais in a little bit more detail. It's going to be coming up on the far right-hand side of our Prado. So our rider scoots across, covering all of the distance our riders covered so far. It's going to go through the climb with no name on to the main ascent. And that Jebel Jais coming up now. This is 5.5% average, but it is a little sorted with some small sections of flat on there, which change the rhythm. They're not long enough, I don't think, to recover. But for me, as a rider, as a racer, somebody who's ridden on this climb on MyWhoosh, they are short enough to change the rhythm and really change how it feels riding up here. And that means that you've got a chance to attack. It depends how good you are at responding to those changes in gradient. Emma, any key things that riders need to think about here? Is it all about pacing? Is it about watching what other people do? Or is it about those the changes in pace?
It is about pacing. It is also about changes in pace, and you've got to be careful. Now, if you think back to the Jebel Jais in qualifier 2, Bates went hard at the bottom of the climb, broke the category 1 pack, but got caught at the top by Bassoni within the last 1,000 metres because she just had nothing left in reserve for a final attack. So you do have to get it right, particularly on these long climbs, and often you can think you've got a big enough gap, and you can still be in danger.
It's very reminiscent of a tour climb that we see on the big tours. It's very reminiscent of the tours that we will be seeing coming up in the tour of Alula, a good friend and colleague of ours at McCrossan, heading out to the Alula tour, and then he'll be on the UAE tour, and the Alula tour, using a lot of the climbs that you see here on the Sunday Race Club. It's going to be very interesting to see what our riders do out in the world of road cycling. And just as much as we love watching our riders, seeing just how hard they're working it here. Now Bates sat in the saddle there, really powering along. Columbia was out there just kicking over. You could just see a lot of the riders just taking the same moment there just to try and cool down a little bit. Another big kick coming up here as Lam Kong tries to stay with this group, but it is Bassoni who is leading up here, looking very focused. You can see the eyes staring intently at that screen, really wanting to make sure that she doesn't miss a move here. Now Kasani on the right-hand side, also looking focused there, really all about paying attention, not missing a move, not making a difference. And I'm loving the fact that we're seeing Celine Columbi's husband in the picture. I know that's her husband because we do actually go, we do our research on our riders. Believe me, you think we do in-depth research, oh boy, we do. It's really interesting to see. I know that her and the family have been out and about having a lot of fun this week. Will today be the day that tops that off with a win here today in the finals for Celine Colombi? I suspect we will see her husband dancing around the room in the pain cave. You never know if that's going to be the case. Right, in with our race leader. It is Roberto Bassoni in Category 1, but our leader overall on the road is German Prado. And that gap, it's not 6 seconds, it's not 12, it's almost heading for the 20s. It was up nearly at 24 seconds. It's just yo-yoing a little bit with the terrain changes. German Prado leading at the moment. We can see German on the screen. Working hard here. That's a smile from German.
I don't know whether that's a smile or a grimace as Prado pushes on. The chase is on behind, however, Daniel Embring, Hermansen, Sarmiento. That is the chasing group of 4 riders. There's then 10 seconds further back to Davidson, Walkenhurst and Smithers, who are also a phenomenal chase group. And this is also about the team competition. Prado and Smithers from Gravity Grinders. Davidson, Daniel and Sarmiento from the Sunday crew. Embring, Walkenhurst and Hermansen from Team AJL Always. This is going to be so tight, and the seconds are going to be crucial in this competition. Well, Prado now 20 seconds clear of this chase group. 4 riders in the chase group on the right-hand side. They're at 31.5 kilometres. You can see on the left-hand side at 30.2, so 1.3 kilometres back down the mountain. It's the leading group of 5 riders in the Category 1 race. They may well be leading, but they're only leading by 1 second because Chiara Donny is leading the chase behind with Columbi. She is in the mix there. Koinstenen is there as well. A little bit further back is Manshandi Van Hove and Sidlik a little bit further back down that mountain. You can see there now on that left-hand bottom screen, it's a multitude of jersey colours on our mountain as the race progresses up the Jebel Jais. Those yellow jerseys, this Category 1 leading group of Bassoni, Bruni, Menenzes, Bates, Fua and Columbi. Donny now making the catch onto the back. That 1 second gap now closed down. It's a strong group. 2, 4, 6, 7 riders leading this Category 1 race now. It's going to be an exciting 4.4 kilometres until we get to that checkered flag.
It is. I think just can't wait to see who's going to go. Somebody's got to attack. Somebody's got to push. Somebody's got to get that kick in there and really, really make it count. It's going to be about having that kick to the finish. It's about making your way up there and taking the win. And we said at the start show, I said at the start show, it's about the finishing line. And that is just so critical. You've got to race through that finishing line. You don't want to get caught on the line. You don't want to get caught at 1,000k, 1,000 meters out, not 1,000k. We don't race that long on the Sunday race. Then we'll be doing relays here in the studio as well. It is about getting over the line first. That is about maximizing your performance, but it's also about supporting the riders. Some riders just get their timing right. They're known winners. Now, Germaine Paredo, the Philippines rider, is a national champion, national road champion as well. She's a very consummate climber, taking away a mountain top wins on the road. Regular esports rider as well. She's a rider who knows how to win. You don't take national titles for fun. And Paredo at the moment looking very, very strong. You can see the national champs bands there on her jersey. You can see the UCI logo on the side here. And at the moment, Germaine Paredo really working hard. The Philippines are one of the countries represented, and great to see esports uniting people across the world. And that's one of the key things that came out of the chat with David Lepassion, who is the president of the UCI. And esports has a unique position in being able to do that now. Riders from all around the world in all of our categories. Here we're in with Chiara Doni, the Italian rider on the climb at the moment. The multicolour screen on the left is your satellite navigation view. Basically, our riders are in the centre of that. They're trying to get to the top. We're in with Donny just moving across to Slincolumby.
Can I just tell you, this Category 1 race, the team competition is wide open. This leading group, we have Lou Bates from Coalition Composite, we have Bassoni from Efferto Skier, we have Bruni from Nordic Spirit, we've got Donny and Fua from Risky Biscuits, we've got Menenzes from Velo Girls. That's 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I had to count, 5 teams represented in this leading group at the moment.
It's usually me who has to get
it
help with the counting.
It is all about, for me, the riders that we are not seeing.
It is, and it's about making sure that now that if you're in this group that you are making it count. Slincolumby out of the saddle here. You can see the bike rocking side to side. Going to be on a rock plate there. You just don't going to get it. Just don't think straight out of the turbo trainer to keep it smooth, to keep it comfy here. Really working hard and dancing on those pedals, tapping through those pedals. A climber always is able to up their revs when they need to. This is when the push comes, and they are answering a move here. This is a push by Fua on the front, I think. We're just going to take a look. Sorry, it's Bassoni on the front who is winding this up, and Columbia at the moment has to answer this. She's got to stay with this group. You see how hard she's working to stay with the group.
Well, staying with that group at the moment, they've just gone past the leaders in the Category 4 race, and that's Sonnerson, Hyde and Lloyd. All 3 from the Petit Four squad. We knew they had been dominant last month. They had won by 16 minutes in the team competition last month because they had 1st, 2nd and 5th versus 6th, 8th and 11th. They're looking like they're going to be dominant again. So Emma Sonnerson, Georgina Hyde and Nikki Lloyd from the Petit Four group. The 3 leaders leading the Category 4 race, now passed by the leaders in the Category 1 race.
And Bassoni, this is a real trademark for her, isn't it? She's sat on that saddle. She doesn't get out of the saddle all the time. She sits there. She really revs. She's at 76 at revs, but she's working, really pushing that round, just trying to keep the pace high. Behind the out of the saddle, they're dancing, trying to keep that flaking round, keep those pedal revs going, just trying to keep on the pace of Bassoni. Bassoni's effort here, this is a long effort, but at the moment, the group are equal to it. They're matched behind.
They're so well matched, the leaders in this Category 1 race. We have got phenomenal climbers here, and it's great to see Chiara Doni really mixing
You just mind read. I was just thinking the same.
It's really great to see her really mixing this up at the front. She's a strong rider and really showing us that she is part and parcel of this leading group with Catherine Fua, her teammate, Bates Bruni. Bassoni, Menendez in here as well. They are working so hard. Columbi now in danger, the rider who's having to push back onto the group. She's 2 seconds adrift. She's digging really deep at the moment to stay in that group. She really now has to kick and to work hard. The grain is going to back off a little bit in a second. It's going to be really good if she can just kick and just stay on that group.
So it's about kicking over, revving through those flatter sections. Now we're in with Category 2. We saw Paredo up at the front, and the Philippines rider who's leading out. 27 seconds is the gap. Now this is about the fight for second, third, fourth, and fifth, but it's also about the team competition. Now Emma's furiously scribbling down and making the notes here whilst I'm watching the screens. Teamwork makes the dream work for us in the studio. Will it be teamwork making the dream work for our riders, Emma?
Well, it is getting
I went back a bit quick there, didn't I?
You did.
Still scribbling.
You did. I am still scribbling because I've got a view back down the shot at the moment. But at the moment, it is so close in the team competition in Cat 2. So Prado from Gravity Grinders is leading by 35 seconds at the moment, but her teammate is in Group 3 on the road, Marcel Smithers.
Oh.
In Group 2, Embring and Hermansen is with Sarmiento and Daniel. So that's 2 for Team AGL always, 2 for the Sunday crew. Back in Group 3, Davidson and Walkenhurst, 1 each from the Sunday crew and Team AJL always. This is about seconds.
It's about seconds. It's about what your first, second, and third team counter can do. Prado is off the front. She's getting in the bank for the team. She's going out and getting for her squad. She's out there scoring some great seconds. She goes underneath that banner. She has to, though, maximise that.
She's got 500 metres to go now in this race. Jeremy Prado is the rider leading the Category 2 race. She's also the leader on the road at the moment. She's got a chase group behind, but they are 30 seconds down the chasing group of 4 in the Category 2 race, as Prado now 400 metres to go in this race today.
So Prado at the front on the right-hand side of your screen in Category 2, left-hand side of your screen. This is the fight for the team competition. In those chasers behind, Gravity Grinders getting the first score underneath the King of the Mountains, Queen of the Mountains banner. Round the corner, it's the clock stopper. It is the yellow banner. That is where the time will start ticking. That's where the clock will start counting, and that is where the addition comes. Prado is round the turn. You can see that. It's a yellow banner. You see the finishing line. This is the UCI banner here on MyWhoosh. This is the run for the line.
Well, Prado sees the banner, the UCI banner, the finish of the final in the January 2024 MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Jeremy Prado is going to take the win in the Category 2 race. Prado's going to take the lead on the road today as she comes under the line. Category 2 win, Jeremy Prado. Well, Hermansen now coming in second place. Lisa Hermansen has kicked from the group, and Embring coming through behind. Sarmiento going to take 4th place. Jenny Daniel looking like she is fighting for 5th, but she's clear of Dana Davidson, who is down the road chasing hard.
So this is going to be down to the seconds. This is down to who will come in where in that team competition. Jenny Daniel makes her way to the line in 5th position. So Paredo came through first for the Gravity Grinders, then 2 teammates behind, making the way in through. So that is going to be very interesting. AJL always coming through. The riders together as back with Category 1. The kick comes, and it's Mel Bruni who has gone up for this. She's kicked hard. She's seen that polka dot banner. She knows that's 500 metres to go. And I think she knows that she can take this to the finish. She's gone early. She's gone hard. 6.5 watts per kilo coming out consistently at the moment. And behind, Bates has to answer. Menendez surely has to answer this. They've got to go, but they don't have an answer at the moment. They are not putting the power down in any way, shape or form, the same way that we are seeing from Mel Bruni, who wants it the most today on the climb. Bruni wants it. She was keeping quiet. She stayed in the shadow. She didn't go out the front too much. She's saved her energy. She's round that turn. What a ride.
Well, the Nordic spirit is fueling Bruni at the moment as she looks up and sees that UCI banner. She's coming up. She's pushing hard. Bruni is going to take the win in this category. One race. She is going to push. She is going to come under that banner first. The chase is on from behind for second place. Menezes is pushing hard. Can Menezes take this from Bates, from Fua? It's going to be Justina Menezes who takes that from Catherine Fua, from Lou Bates. That is a close finish because Chiara Dorni, Roberta Bassoni are also coming in thick and fast behind.
And it came down to that sprint on the climb. This is our next race finish.
This is going to be category 3. It's going to be Turkova from Gentili. It's going to be Turkova who takes that from Gentili, from De Silva, I think, but that was close on the line.
So you can catch up with all of the results. What great finishes on all of our race categories today. Great to show everybody here today making the way in at the front of the race. If you're out there racing, keep on going. No Hill goes on forever. Here are your confirmed results. It's Merle Bruni who comes through to take the win in category 1 from Menezes, for Bates and Donny rounding out the top 5. Bassoni and Clumby right up in the mix. Prado from Hermansen, the Terminator, in second spot today. Prado managing to put a stop to Hermansen's climb. Don't forget, catch all the results. MyWhoosh.com/results. Go onto the website, see all the latest news. Keep up with what's happening. It is at MyWhoosh across all of social media. Please do give MyWhoosh a follow to stay up to date with what's happening with the latest updates. Don't forget, you can follow me. It's at Matt Fixer Pain. Please do get in touch, particularly with the climb. Now, Emma, before I ask you where we can get in touch, tell us, you are absolutely bouncing in the seat in the commentary box.
I am, because the results of the team competition are coming in. Head over to mywhoosh.com. Look at the results, because the Risky Biscuits have taken it from Coalition Composite by 56 seconds.
Wow.
It's looking like Team AJL Always have taken it by 44 seconds from the Sunday crew. But go and take a look for the results, because they will keep coming in thick and fast.
So it's been great bringing you the live action from the MyWhoosh Women's Finals here on the Sunday Race Club. It's all made possible by the amazing team behind the scenes. Got to say a massive thank you to them, to our riders for giving us the action to put words to. But thank you so much for watching. Please do join us for the men's race, which is coming up after this. And in fact, I'm going to continue all day today on the mic, because you can also catch up with me on another UCI platform, which is, of course, where MyWhoosh is now the UCI partner in esports. I'll be bringing the action from the very final round of the UCI Cyclocross World Cup. So please do join me from Hoogerheide, which is nowhere near as sunny as it is in Arabia. We're going to grab a quick break. We'll be back very shortly for the men's race. But in the meantime, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.